Please join me in welcoming to the stage the director of Coming Home, Viko Nikci. This is for both of you, really. But so I guess for you, Viko, how did you learn about Angel's story, and how did you approach him? And then consequently, like, how did you feel about this guy coming up to you, and after being in prison for so long?
No,
like,
somebody very close to me is very close to Angel, and is at the time as well. After the first confession, Dario's confession in 2007, there was a few news outlets here that picked up the story, as well as a book that I read by Claudia Troop, who's in the audience here as well.
It's Claudia.
Somewhere.
Angel.
Just that kind of spoke about the case, and there's a lot of details in the case where literally, like, I think in 30 seconds you realize that he didn't belong where he was. But then you meet Angel, and there's a whole person behind the case. There's a whole family behind the case. I just thought that was compelling enough for me to get to know that person. There's something very charismatic, I feel, about Angel, as you guys getting a little sense of, magnetic. But I just think he's just an open and honest person, and he is who he is. And I've always found that, like the first time we filmed was in prison, and I remember looking over at one stage, and the camera guy is like, and it was just one long shot. A lot of it was shot in one consecutive take that we chopped up. We were taking it day by day. We were literally filming what was going on in front of the camera. I mean, obviously Angel and Michelle met and married while in prison, so that was going to be new. I think that was going to be new for everyone. We were trying to figure out stuff like boring stuff, like how to get the big cameras in the car, and how to get it mic'd up, and just we were trying to be as fly on the wall as possible with just high resolution flies, pretty much, because we were on the Epic and the Red on Steadicam. So that was the approach, really, of just let's use a cinematic language that we're in cinemas like this watching, scripted films, but with something that we can't really control.
Did you say like you can't film this or anything at any point, or were you just like it's all there?
Whenever they was there, and they filmed everything they could, and then he cut it up to what you see now, which was, to me, fantastic. Like, I didn't know how he was going to make a story about me.
Right.
Like, what, you want to just follow me around? I live a boring life. How you going to make a story about Angel Cordero? But he pulled it off. So, as you see.
You did a great job. Heard it. So the first part is really sort of how long did you shoot? Because you do a great job of sort of compressing it, and it feels very sort of tight. But how much time did you take? And then the second part is for Angel. We're seeing this one sort of segment of your life, but how do you feel that you changed during the course of that time?
Well, we shot the overall span was about 4 or 5 months, and over those 4 or 5 months, I think we had about 28 or 30 shoot days. I'm based in Dublin, so we flew in over 3 stages to shoot in New York. There was a stage before Angel's release. There was about 2 weeks or 3 weeks at the time of his release, and there was a number of weeks after. And when you're looking at the footage, things change like the weather. But obviously, the other thing is the kind of emotional arc. I think sometimes in relationships takes that amount of time to change. So I don't know. I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like you recognize yourself, or you see yourself differently at the times when you were inside, say, versus the times we went to Florida, which was about, I guess, 4 months later?
Actually, I didn't change much. I was always the same. I was the same person throughout the whole process of the filming. Obviously, the only difference is that I was locked up. You see me doing the interview, me being locked up, and then me coming home. And me being home, gave me a little more freedom and a little more leeway and a little more happiness to my life.
Do you think there was any potentially negative or difficulty in your relationship with your daughter because of the camera's presence in any way?
In my opinion, I don't think the camera made a difference. She was who she was at that time, and she felt a certain way about our relationship, and that was just it.
Yeah.
With or without the cameras being there. And
has she seen the film?
She hasn't seen the film yet. I think we're just this is kind of one of the first steps in the process of the film, Yes. So, and hopefully she does, and hopefully it's a positive experience for her.
That's what I have for people coming home. I guess just be humble and pray a lot. And I'm really not very good with advice. I mean, I was fortunate that I have family that kept me stable, for the lack of a better term. Because without them, I don't know where I would be. So, I guess the best advice I could give is, like, I hope you have family that could give you stability, because without my family, I'll be lost.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for both of you being here. We really appreciate it.